What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Believes Crypto Show, where I'm always right, so you don't have to be. I'm going to tell you everything that's going on in this market so that you know and you will be able to invest properly during your day, and hopefully that's going to lead to significant gains. Also, I kept Mini-Me here with me today so that you guys are reminded that there was a time when I was just a lowly South Park character living his best life. Just messing around. Anyway, guys, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. We're going to talk about everything that's going on. And by the way, there's going to be a lot to go over today as the market has started a full-on recovery. The question, of course, is going to be, will it maintain? Well, the news that we're getting right now seems to be really good. So when you have really good news, that's a good sign that the market is about to have a significant recovery. Hopefully it maintains. Now, the important part to remember is, as with anything, there's always a risk here. And the risk basically at this point is, will the goblins and ghouls in the market, will these lecherous, traitorous people, will they dump on you to begin with? So let's start off by loading up our now working chat. There we go. So we've got a chat working again. So, and that's a great thing, since, you know, it's been kind of a nightmare to get this thing working exactly the way that I want. So good morning to Hit Gary. Good morning to Jay Manuel. Good morning, Jordan's too, but Roy G, good morning. Hit Gary Daily, again, good morning. And Janet Lachey, good morning. Latama, good morning. I hope everybody is having a great day. So let's talk about what is going on in this market, and let's see if we can figure out exactly what is happening. So we're going to start off with this. And that's going to be this right here. Trump-backed World Liberty Financial to roll out real-world asset products in January. So let me just say that World Liberty Financial has revealed plans to expand its crypto offerings in January. This follows a recent announcement of a partnership with Aster Dex to boost the adoption of the firm's USD1 stablecoin. And by the way, let's not forget that this was something that was very big for CZ Binance. And now, not only was CZ Binance pardoned, but the World Liberty Financial is now partnered with a project that CZ Binance himself has recommended. It's an interesting time right now in these markets where you see it's, I don't know what to call it. I don't really know what to call it at this point, other than a gift that just keeps on giving, especially if you're like me. You're one of those people who you just watch this thing with a weird eye. So this marks the latest move from World Liberty Financial, which continues to expand its crypto offerings. As CoinGate reported, the firm has teased the launch of a retail payments application and a debit card in September. And, listen, I think that we're going to be moving very quickly to a these prepaid debit cards. Not a credit-based system, I don't think. I think what we're going to get is we're going to get a whole lot of new cards coming out. Now, we've always had them. But there's never been a real acceptance. There's always been like that feeling in the back end of the market that we're not sure. And it hasn't been just very, very smooth. Like, for example, let's just say that you're using a Coinbase wallet. If you use the Coinbase wallet, there should be a debit card attached to it so that you could spend your money through that debit system. And we don't have that. Or MetaMask or Phantom Wallet. There should be an easy debit card and a debit card option. You click on a button, you get one for $10 sent to your house. And then all you have to do to manage your finances is just sell some crypto, move it into your USDT or USDC, whichever one they choose. And then boom, you are able to go out and spend. And at the end of the year, they just give you your tax bill. Done. Absolute banger situation there, in my opinion. And I hope that we get to a point where something like that happens. But as of yet, it hasn't been that simple, despite the fact that I'm calling it that simple. So, World Liberty Token is starting a recovery, but let's zoom out here and say that the World Liberty recovery is no better than any other recovery in the long term. This is totally 100% big market conditions. So until the big market conditions start to favor the bullish upside, then I don't think that it's going to absolutely break out and go crazy. It will have a nice little surge. I think that we'll see a good little rally on it, but it's only up 0.25%. And I mean, look, this is your World Liberty Financial chart. So, yeah. And by the way, we have not reached that buy here spot. So until we reach that buy here spot, I am not a buyer. Buying at this level, in my opinion, is a bad move. Now, I could be completely wrong, by the way. I could be. But I hope you guys, by the way, I hope you guys like that new motto. I'm always right, so you don't have to be. And what I'm saying by that is, look, I'm going to set a buy at 1.013 cents. And if you do something different, that's on you, boo-boo. But for me, if I come down to exactly 1 penny one more time, then I become a buyer on World Liberty Financial. So if the market corrects and it does it, then we get that opportunity. If it doesn't correct and we don't get that opportunity, then I'm not going to be in on it, and I'm going to just miss it. Now, market, by the way, is up $53 billion on the day. It was up a lot higher until the U.S. market woke up and started to take profit, but we got some good news, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. Next up, Solana price poised for a 25% relief rally as the ETF inflows surge past 650 million. Now, the Solana ETF had outflows today while the XRP had inflows. But overall, the Solana price is up 10% in the past 24 hours, having a nice day. SWI had a better day, but Solana had a nice big day at 10%. And despite a little bit of outflow. Now, I think that little bit of outflow is going to lead to inflows on the ETF tomorrow because, of course, these retail ETF consumers, they work a little bit slower than most other markets. So going to see some kind of move on Solana. I expect to continue. Maybe we'll see a $200 Solana very, very soon. Bitcoin starting to look like it's gaining some traction. We do need a close. I'm going to give you that in just a moment. But once we get that close above, then I think that the rally is going to continue. And when I look at the charts, by the way, we still got a bearish flip here, and I'll tell you all the bearish signs in just a moment. But I think ultimately we're in a pretty good spot right now for a rally. So fingers crossed. December, Fed rate cut prospects strengthen after ADP shows a deepening labor market weakness. ADP private payrolls fall 32,000, the biggest drop since March of 2023. Small firms drive losses. Large employers still add a net 90K jobs. The rich keep getting richer, by the way, under the Trump administration. And, look, at some point that does trickle down to the people who are not rich. At some point it does trickle down. But right now, the wealthy are seeing the big benefits and the big advantages of all of this. By the way, for those of you that consume, I have a BitTensor video coming out today. BitTensor, one of the sponsors here that we talk about all the time. I have a BitTensor video coming out right now, and I want to point out something to you when it comes to AI, and we're going to talk about this a lot more going into the future. If you do business with Grok, for the best Grok, you have to pay for it, right? You have to pay Elon Musk for usage on Grok. You have to pay Google for the best usage of Gemini. You have to pay Sam Altman and OpenAI for the best use of ChatGPT. BitTensor, on the other hand, is decentralized, autonomous, and open sourced. And it is the largest cap AI crypto that there is, with over 32 subnets that allow you to generate your content, to create AI agents to check your emails, or whatever you want to use them for. You want to program something? There's subnets that allow you to do that. And as we explore these subnets, you guys are going to be fascinated to find out all of the AI possibilities that BitTensor provides. Now, it's early in the BitTensor process, to be fair. So these subnets are fantastic places.
Interesting information about BitTensor TAO and its decentralized open source AI capabilities.
And now Google just decided, while I'm talking about Gemini, that they want to impart their wisdom on you. So that's kind of wild, if you will. So anyway, the December rate cuts, we're going to get back to this. We're going to get back to it. Sorry. The BitTensor thing is going to be, I think it's going to be really, it's an impressive ecosystem. Okay. That's all I'm going to say, I guess. So according to ADP, private employers cut 32,000 jobs in November. That compared with a Dow Jones consensus forecast of a 40,000 increase. Think about that for a second. They thought it was going to be an increase of 40,000 and it was a cut of 32,000. That means that the rate cuts are in an emergency crisis. The decline followed an upwardly revised gain of 47,000 in October. ADC said the drop was the largest since March of 2023. Small businesses accounted for the weakness. Firms with fewer than 50 employees reported a net decline of 120,000 jobs. Within that group, companies with 20 to 49 workers shed 74,000. Larger businesses moved in the opposite direction. Companies with 50 or more employees reported a net gain of 90,000. The large corporations are making out like a bandit. They're continuing hiring processes, and they are taking away the small jobs and putting them into large corporate jobs. Hey guys, didn't you vote against that? I'm just asking the question. I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but didn't you vote against that? And what are we seeing happen? The same thing. It's business as usual. It doesn't matter who the president is. This whole country, this whole economy, it's one big grift, and it will never change no matter who you put in charge until we have. There's two things that we're headed towards, right? Totalitarianism or a revolution. Okay? Industry data showed gains in a few areas and losses across many others. Education and health services added 33,000 jobs. Leisure and hospitality added 13,000. Professional business services fell by 26,000. Information by 20,000. And manufacturing dropped by 18,000. You know, because they're bringing all the manufacturing jobs back. That's why it's down 18,000, because we're doing that. Financial activities and construction each posted losses of 9,000. Wage growth slowed again. Workers who stayed in their roles saw pay rises of 4.4% from a year earlier. That was 0.1% lower than October, which means that the raises are not coming out like they were before. Still not a bad number, by the way. I think if we got a 4.5 and now you've got a 4.4, I know it's a big total, but that's still a gain. Now, it's not keeping up with inflation. I understand that, but it is starting to show at least some positivity. Maybe these rate cuts are going to help. So the Fed rate cut outlook now firms up, and they're pricing in a much higher reduction. And by the way, Kevin Hassett's been nominated by Donald Trump to be the replacement for the Fed chair. Now, of course, you can't go through the whole process yet. It's going to be May, I think, before Jerome Powell is you're out, baby. So Kevin Hassett's sitting on the sidelines right now. Guys, I'm telling you right now, when Kevin Hassett is in charge in May, we are going to see massive rate cuts. We're going to see massive rate cuts. And did you know, by the way, until what was it, 1929, there was no Fed, and the United States did just fine without a Federal Reserve. So let's also at least acknowledge the fact that we don't really need the Fed to increase our interest rates and to strip the American people of their purchasing power, which is what they're doing ultimately. We could actually do this without that. So, and I hope that we just abolish the Fed at some point. Next up, Bitcoin jumps back above 93,000 as short liquidations and fresh institutional interest help fuel rebound ahead of the Fed meeting. So now we're starting to see institutional headlines and fresh short squeeze lifted sentiment ahead of next week's Federal Reserve meeting. But traders and analysts say the market is still in wait and see mode rather than starting a new leg higher. This is what I've been telling you. We have to complete a move. I'm going to show you in just a few minutes what the move is for Bitcoin before we figure out whether or not we're going to get there. Bitcoin has jumped roughly 8% since the Monday lows. It's also, Ether has reclaimed 3,000, which, as a matter of fact, is still at 3,000, I want to say right now. But the short liquidations there's a huge amount coming. And I think that we're going to get another surge, and that next surge is going to knock out and wipe out quite a bit of them. However, there are some estimates here that somewhere between 100 and 107,000 is just going to make it a bull trap. And if we don't break above 107, then we're basically just testing a bear thesis. And by the way, Bitcoin now down to 92,470 as the U.S. market sucks the liquidity out of the market. We were up $70 billion at one point. Matter of fact, guys, I can't even make this shit up with you. I can't even make this shit up with you. The U.S. market comes online, and at that point, we were up to 3.14 trillion. So we were up $85 billion just a few short hours ago, 2 hours ago, and the U.S. market came online. And what did they do? They sucked the liquidity dry. I don't know what to say to you guys other than do not trust the American market. Do not trust the American market. It is a goblin. It is a ghoul. It is a nasty, disgusting. Jesus. Anyway, so we've gone. Let's see. What is this number, by the way? Let's go the top over here. We wicked up to the top right there. We wicked down here. $65 billion swing since the U.S. market came online. Just let that sink in. $65 billion swing since the U.S. market came online. These goblins, they're disgusting. They are disgusting. Wall Street is now widening crypto access because guess what? Vanguard is now allowing you to use crypto and buy crypto. Vanguard moved to allow clients to trade. Bank of America reportedly issued internal guidance for Merrill and private bank clients that calls for a crypto allocation of 1 to 4%. Guys, if you didn't notice, if you haven't seen it, the exposure to crypto is only increasing, and you're bearish, and you've got these dummies out here telling you, it's over, it's not going to keep going up. They just do not understand the way that money is flowing right now. And by the way, when I say that, I realize I'm making those people sound like their ideas have autism. And what I mean to say by that is I don't think that they're right. They could be. They could ultimately be right. But I think that I'm right. And like I said before, I'm right, so you don't have to be. All you have to do is pay attention and read the tea leaves. Now, let's keep moving on here. Chainlink price surges 20%. What's driving the massive upswing? So Chainlink saw a sharp price increase today, supported by massive surge in trade volume. In the past 24 hours, Link increased its volume by 92% to 1.21 billion. Now, what is going on? The first grayscale Chainlink ETF happened. Glink, which is the dumbest name ever. Oh, God. It drives me crazy to think it's called Glink, which, by the way, I still snicker when I hear it because Glink apparently tickles my funny bone. But we've got the first ETF in history for Chainlink. During the initial trading day, it had 1.17 million shares traded. That's close to 28 times its former average volume as a private trust. This kind of institutional activity on the first day is an indication of heavy demand. What is Chainlink? Chainlink is your answer to everything in terms of data in the crypto ecosystem. You want to know how prices stay maintained across different exchanges? Chainlink. You want to know how your weather is calculated and sent to you via Web3? Chainlink. It's where everybody is gathering and collating information. And by the way, if that continues, and I have no reason to suspect that it's not going to continue and grow, then guess what? Competitors like API3, they're going to start emerging. And when this market continues, people are going to be looking for the next Chainlink. The next Chainlink, in my opinion, API3. So I'm not sponsored and brought to you by API3. It's just a personal opinion. But I'm always right, so you don't have to be, right? So just continue to buy some API3. You're going to have a blow-off moment at some point pretty soon because Chainlink having a bomb of a run. If Chainlink runs up in price and it does what Ethereum did, which is, Ethereum hit an all-time high not that long ago. Bitcoin, all-time high not that long ago. Solana, not an all-time high, but got close again, had a new high in market cap. So when Chainlink, which is now next up, by the way, XRP, same thing, but now we've got this Chainlink ETF. So guess what? All-time high for Chainlink coming up very, very soon. What is the all-time high for Chainlink? Now that I bring that up, I want to actually find out what that number is. And that number appears to be, Jesus Christ, please get off of that. There we go. $52.90 is the all-time high for Chainlink. Guys, I suspect that you're going to see a huge, and the rock means huge, move into this very, very soon. You're going to see an absolute blow-off. Chainlink, as an entry right now at $14, it appears to me, guys, to be a steal. Now, in the event that it doesn't, okay, in the event that there's a collapse in the market, in the event that we're not going to make it, we should at least look at where the volume is on the upside. So if we look at a volume profile right here, then we want to get an idea of where the top of the market would be, and that's going to be right around here at $28. So in the event that we get this massive surge, it's going to be right there. That green line right there, that is a long way off, and it looks to me like it would be an easy 2x. Now, if it goes to its all-time high, that's going to be an easy 4x. So, I would look for, no matter what, I would look for Chainlink to make an aggressive move pretty soon. When you look at it from a valuation standpoint, Chainlink is, where is it in terms of it's number 13 overall with with a $10 billion market cap. It would be up to number 8 with a $40 billion market cap if it broke out and it did exactly what I'm telling you that it's going to do. And that would put it ahead of Tron, which, I mean, guys, we don't even know why Tron is still doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even know, other than Justin Sun just propping this whole thing up. You know what I mean? Like a house of cards. But Chainlink, down 28% on the year. That is a huge buy opportunity. So, look, I just get yourself some Chainlink just in case. I would think that there's going to be a big move. Now let's move on here. The MSCI index removal threat grows as Strategy enters negotiation talks. So, Strategy has officially started talks with top index firm MSCI. Michael Saylor's confirmed the negotiations are underway in a bid to remove his firm from the key index. According to Reuters, Strategy is now in formal discussions to remove themselves from the key global indices. Chairman Saylor confirmed the talks. He said the firm is actively engaging. He says that this could lead to an $8.8 billion in outflows if other index providers follow suit. Saylor, however, pushed back on some of the forecasts. He said that he is not convinced the projected outflows is accurate with current market optics. He acknowledged Bitcoin's crash from its record above 120,000, which took down equity and other digital assets. The equity is designed to move more sharply than Bitcoin. He shared that his volatility is part of the firm's structure as a leveraged Bitcoin play. He understands the volatility. Not only does he understand the volatility, but guess what? Strategy says that they do not need to sell any Bitcoin before 2029. We're talking about another 4-year cycle. And of course, I know we're not in a 4-year cycle, but another halving phase. They don't have to do anything with their Bitcoin before 2029, meaning that there is a huge amount of opportunity for growth, not just growth now, assuming that we have another top and we have a double top, a blow off, we get an altcoin. Not even assuming that, but just assuming that we could also at some point very, very soon we'll see that decline, and then we'll start to see that huge move going back up and taking it up in that 250 to 300,000 range that's been projected for a long period of time. A lot of people calling for $250,000 Bitcoin, and Michael Saylor, as the largest holder, stands to benefit greatly from that. And just imagine, if you will, that he's holding around 700,000 Bitcoin right now. Imagine, if you will, that they get what they're looking for. And remember, their DCA right now, 74,000. If it goes to 250 to 300,000, that's a 4x from his previous position. He could literally pay off his debt by selling 1/4 of his Bitcoin holdings and would still have somewhere close to, what is that number? 475,000, 575,000 Bitcoin. He would still have an enormous amount of Bitcoin. What's not to like? It looks like Michael Saylor is in it to win it, and it looks like he's going to win. So watch out for that. And watch for continued movement and upside. Crypto ETF news: Vanguard to enable trading of Bitcoin, XRP, Solana ETF on its platform. Remember, 1 year ago, Vanguard, while everybody else was bullish and while everybody else said, we're going to be offering Bitcoin, Vanguard stepped up to the mic and said, listen here, Sonny. We're not going to go with all these beatcorns, and we're not going to, and I just assume that they have like that, Parkinson's or something. We're not going to have this. We're not going to offer them, digital assets because there's no value in any of that. Well, guess what? Now, when people, and by the way, they had billions of dollars in outflow from Vanguard as a wealth management firm, and it went into BlackRock, it went into ARK21. They got absolutely brutalized. And guess what? Now, all of a sudden, as of December 2nd, they are now allowing trading for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. So that is absolutely crazy. This comes after more than $1 trillion was wiped out of the crypto market. Despite the drop, interest in regulated crypto products is still growing quickly in the U.S. fund industry. In September, Vanguard shared plans to offer access to crypto ETF products to its brokerage clients. Like, it's been in the works for a while. They knew that they had screwed up by ignoring what was going on in the market. They knew they had screwed up. And guess what? Now they're course correcting. Speaking of course correcting, the SEC Crypto Roundtable, Paul Atkins declares support for crypto custody and DeFi activities. Guys, this is an incredible move right here. When we have something like that happening, and we're just going to move on from that one. When we have something like that happen, how can you be anything but bullish? You have to be bullish on it. Let's get back into the chat right now. Guys, I hope that, I don't even know where my chat is. Damn it. All right, so did you miss me? Yes, I missed you. We will be in a bear market. I don't think so. Link has more X's than API 3. Oh no. What I would think for a Link to API move, if you're looking to do that, I would say grab Link right now. Grab it in the prospect that the ETF is going to create a squeeze on it, which is going to lead to some price appreciation. Look to exit your position at, you get 100x, buy yourself. It's at $14 right now. When it goes to $28, sell and move all of your holdings into API 3 and hope that API 3 gets that same sort of drag along, because it does what Chainlink does better. So because it's a low cap and because it performs better, it has more potential for upside. Doesn't have the potential, in my opinion, to be the next Chainlink. Chainlink is already there. Chainlink will get better and better as the programmers make it more consistent and more robust as an ecosystem. So whatever API 3 does better, assume that Chainlink at some point will end up doing better too. They're going to pivot as a business. But API 3, I think, still has that tremendous upside. If it runs, again, if you run up to 40 billion market cap, then you're going to go 4x from where you are right now for Chainlink. But if you go look at just API 3, market cap on API 3 is at 45 million. So if you just consider that API 3 has the ability to get to where Chainlink is right now as the best alternative, then you're talking about a 100x. So you're going from a 4x to a potential 100x. And by the way, that does not mean that it's going to happen. That doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that this is me just thinking that no matter what, 4x is what I think is going to happen with Chainlink. For API 3, I think it's going to be so much higher. Even if you just consider that it's going to go 20x or 10x, it's still going to be more than you would make. So what I would do is I would put my money into Link right now. I would allow for it to grow a little bit. Once it's grown enough, again, take your original investment out and leave the rest in if you think that it's going to continue to run. But take your original out when it 2x's and then move that money over into API 3. Pith does the same thing. Pith does a pretty good job of it too. So it's going to get drug along with it as well. Now let's move on to Kobayashi. Investors are rushing into the silver market. Physical silver-backed ETF holdings jumped 15.7 million ounces in November. The silver market, the gold market, these precious metals, guess what? Historically, they convert into Bitcoin at some point. So when you see the top, when you start to get top signals in the silver market and in the gold market, there's going to be a capital rotation. Not because everybody's just going to sell their gold and silver and start to buy in, but the people who are speculative investors, not the people who are precious metal maxis. They're going to continue to worry about precious metals. But the people who are worried about capital rotation, they know where the capital rotation is. The early adopters are going to get into Bitcoin right now, but the late adopters, they're going to start migrating over and they're going to see opportunity and they're going to go crazy on it. So I suspect that you should just kind of hold on and watch and see what happens there. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys, I did take a long position on free money that I got from Weeks the other day. They gave me like $3 or $5 or whatever it was. And I'm up 80% right now. I took Zebek. And I'm looking for Looking to see if Zebek will have an actual big rally move right there, and come back up to some of those previous tops over there. It's only a few bucks, by the way. Like, it's not like if I lose $3, I'm not going to be stressing over it. But I took a 20x long position on Zebek in the hopes that there was a big time rally. And it was free money that was given to me by Weeks anyway. So I'm just going to let it ride until the end, and until they force me to liquidate or something. And then I'll just be like, oh, well. All right, so the SEC is cracking down on highly leveraged ETFs amid the recent surge in market volatility. The SEC just issued multiple warning letters to ETF providers, effectively blocking the introduction of 3x and 5x levered ETF. We write to express concern regarding the registration of ETFs that seek to provide more than 200% leveraged exposure. Leverage is clearly out of control. So what they're doing is they're trying to take advantage of the Trump administration. And you know, look, I'm so glad that they're stopping this. Look, this is gambling. Okay, leverage trading is just gambling. Okay. Again, I took $3 that I'm going to lose anyway that they gave me for free, and I'm hoping for a win right there. I'm not putting my own money. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to lose my own money in leverage. You know, I want to lose your money in leverage. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see that they're doing something about that. That's a really good sign. It's a really good sign that at least the rails are not completely off with the Trump administration. They're at least wise enough to know that you just can't make this leverage environment, because that's the brutality of this market. That's why we're PvPing right now, is because so much of this market is built upon leverage. And Aster and places like that, these leverage risk places that everybody seems to love, they love until they lose all their money, and then they just disappear. And they were the ones, by the way, all these people that were talking all of this, awesome, it's the most amazing thing. All of these guys that were talking all of this stuff right now, guess what? They're real quiet right now. Why are they real quiet? Because the market changed. The market shut them out. The market stole their liquidity and their money, and they thought they were super smart. The only people that you're listening to is a guy named James Wynn. James Wynn has now lost 88 trades in a row and been liquidated for somewhere near $76 million. And lost 88, guys, he's lost 88 trades in a row for close to $76 million. So you're listening to the worst trader in history right now. You know, this is the Michael Burry of 2025. And by the way, I know, Big Short, but that's the only time he won. It's the only time. He's even out of the market now. So what's he going to do? All right, so TerraCasino.io. If you do like to wager, it's a great place to go. So certainly go check that out. Terraport.finance for all of your meme coins and utility coins in the dev ecosystem, including the Believe coin. But I don't think that you should have the Believe coin. I think you should have Juris right here. It's number 2 trending right now. I think you should have some Selenium, which is number 5 right now. I think you should have those for sure, and then have some WISO. WISO is currently number 8. Have those 3 right there. I do think that those are function, utility-based projects, and you could stand to gain dramatically from holding those. Also, Garuda. So if you get an opportunity to get that one, I would get that one as well. Dev, absolutely no update right here. Here we are in the daily right now. Link up 14%, SWE up 17%, 2Z up 21%, Pepe recovering 13%. ENA up 14%. We're seeing a little bit of recovery. Most everything is in the green for the day, except ICP. Can't get a win on ICP. Like to see some capital rotation into ICP coming very soon. I bought some the other day. You know, I still hold Tau, which is trading at 2.72 billion market cap, $284. But Zcash down another 8% on the day. M down 9.3% on the day. And by the way, all those numbers just really changed. Like, I think this crypto bubbles, this site is really just starting to, I don't know. Seems to take too long for the data to come in. I assume they're not using Chainlink for their data profile. Fluid up 22%. The Fear and Greed Index is back up in the fear range at 28. So we're still seeing that fear in the market. People are still scared, so we'll let you know if anything changes there. As far as leverage liquidation, we're going to go back to the 1 month calendar. It seems to be the best one for kind of looking at the market. We came up, and guess what we did? Came up and got exactly what I said we were going to get in that 94,000 range. Now we're consolidating for that next surge into 97, 98,000. We get to 97, 98,000. Then what I'm going to be looking for is a break back down to 91.4. And that's the number that I was giving you before. It's the number that I'm going to give you again. As far as the ETFs go, 678 for Bitcoin yesterday. Ethereum had outflows. XRP had massive inflows totaling $89 million on the day. Solana ETF had massive inflows in the total of $45 million. Ethereum had significant outflow yesterday. I guess I shouldn't say significant, about 10 million, but the previous day was about 80 million. So, still not looking at that massive inflow continuation. Like, we'd like to see a little bit more from Ethereum, but today is the Fusaka upgrade. So, if you are wondering right now, Ethereum is about to get better and better and better and better. So now let's look, and let's start with Bitcoin real quick here. Again, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a surge from Bitcoin up into the 97,000 range, which is right about here. This is a little pocket right there. Looking for it to get rejected around 98. Remember, that's where the leverage position is. We just looked at it, and you see this little pocket right there of like almost zero activity. Right over here. Well, that would indicate that that's going to be the range and the zone by which we come up into this range. We get rejected off around 98,000, and that's when you see a big test come down, and we find out whether or not we've got support at 91,004. If we have support at 91,004, then guess what? The bullish narrative has been maintained. If we remove the volume profile, and then we kind of zoom out here just a little bit, then guess what? You can make all the arguments that you want about it's over. You can cry about it. It's over, it's over, it's over. But guess what? Structurally, despite some of the narrative that you don't, despite some of the it's over, some of the bearishness and stuff like that, guess what? We haven't broken the structure right now of this market. The MACD is in positive flow right now. The RSI is still fairly low, which means that a massive rally could continue. Now, in the event that we break down from this range right now, if we wick down real quick, then if we just kind of capitulate to 75,000 and then wick back above, and we get back into that 90,000 sort of range, then we're good to go. We're going to be fine. But I'm going to be watching for a capitulation event, okay? I'm really going to be watching diligently for that to happen. And remember, every Bitcoin cycle has hit the golden ratio for Fibonacci from the previous cycle. The Fibonacci right now from the previous cycle is 173,000. This would be the first time that we did not hit that golden ratio. So, and by the way, that could happen. I'm not saying that it won't. But if it does, and we only go to 130 or 150, something like that, I think people are going to be a little bit annoyed, by that. So I think that we're in an uptrend. I think we're continuing in this uptrend, and I think that we're about to have another significant rally. Every time we look at these big rallies, you look at them similar, and you look at people who are nervous in the market. You look at people who say, right over here, they're like, oh my God, it's over. It's absolutely over. We get a nice relief rally, and they're like, oh no, we're bears again. And then you got days and days and days of people posting on Twitter and X how, oh my God, we're screwed. It's not going to go up anymore. The bull run's over. And then boom, we get a significant bounce, and then wham, it's off to the races all over again. And we see that play out time and time again on the chart. Don't believe me on that one? Guess what? Happened over here too. Not only did we do that, lower low, lower low, lower low. The rally's over. This is the end of the bull market. We're done. This is it. It's all done. And then bam. By the way, this is where, just to remind you guys, this is where I got banned from, this is where Dr. Profit blocked me, because he said that we were going down to 50,000 down here. And I said, you don't know shit. And he blocked me. So, by the way, I was right. He was wrong. So now that leads to another significant rally where we get to an all-time high, then we get to another all-time high, then we get to another all-time high, then we get to another all-time high, and now we break down here, and guess what? The reason we get over here, Wintermute dumps, and then the 4-year cycle Bitcoin whales decide, you know what? Because Wintermute dumped, that's a signal to sell, the 4-year cycle is over, so they start to liquidate their positions, and then you have this cascade of red that happens in the market as people are like, well, you know what? It's over. Guess what? It's not over. If you continue and you move on to logic and reason, then let's do this and give it 1 second for it to populate, because it does not look like it is populating well at all. Let's hit reload here maybe. All right, well, the M2 money supply is not loading. I guess it will in a few moments. But the point to it is M2 money supply still in an uptrend. So we're not even in a downtrend with money being printed. We stopped quantitative tightening a couple days ago. We're about to get another Fed rate cut. You know, what more do you want to be bullish? What else do you need? You know what I'm saying? We're not done yet. We're not done yet. That's an order, by the way. We're not done yet. And what did I tell you? I'm always right, so you don't have to be. All right, so what else do we have here? Chain 24-hour DEX volume, 6 billion on the top 2, and we're at about 8.5 billion on the top 4. Still not the number that we're looking for. Still want to see that come up double to about 16 to 20 billion. But we're seeing the reversal. We're seeing the reversal of trend. We're seeing more money coming back into the market. People are like, you know what? Actually, maybe we're not done. And that's that feeling that you want to get. That's the feeling that you're looking for. That's the one that excites you and tells you that this market is ready for that next leg up. And I think that next leg is coming. Now, I can't tell you when that's going to be. I don't see any reason for it to be December. I can say this. If you're looking at December and you're looking for a pop that you would get in December, then Dev, I mean, that's the only one potentially for me that I would say that I think that there's going to be a pop on, and that's because of the announcement. And, you know, they haven't said anything about we're not having that partnership announcement or anything like that. They've programmed it in, if you will, for right now to happen. So I suspect that it's going to happen. I don't have any reason to think that it would not happen. So, you know, I'm excited, bullish about getting that opportunity. Then we're going to take some of that profit and we're going to move it back over, and we're going to move it back over into Bitcoin, because that's the big one. That's the big dog on the block. That's the one that we want to see the big pump come from. That's the one that moves the markets. And then we're going to see that cascade, and we're going to see that altcoin season, and we're going to see everything absolutely blow up. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, none of this is financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys. And again, we're doing some pivots. We're going to be talking about some different things over the next couple of days, and I hope you guys stick around for it. We'll talk to you again very, very soon.